Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to review Kalim Al-Asim from the Twisted Wonderland series, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly because I'm not 100% sure. So the drop rates are going to be exactly the same compared to the other new Tsum that's currently out right now, and it's going to be 50% for both of them right now, so the odds are the same. The ability description is clears groups of Tsums in one go, and this current game demonstration that you're currently watching right now is a skill level 1 game demonstration, so the skill range is going to be extra small. But I will have gameplays for all 6 of the skill levels, so don't worry about that. So let's take a look at the stats first. In order for you to activate his ability, you're going to need to clear a total of 16 copies of him off the screen. 16 is in that middle range, so it's not super high, it's also not super low, so I would say it's in that average range. The minimum score is going to be 150 with a maximum score of 983. So minimum score is pretty high, but then for the maximum score, it's not too good. So if you only have low level Tsums, then this Tsum is going to be pretty good for scoring purposes, but once you get to level 50, it's not going to be that great. And if you want to get this Tsum to skill level 6, you will need to get a total of 29 copies of him from the premium box, which is on the average side as well, so it's pretty reasonable. And every single time you level up his ability, the skill range is going to increase by a little bit, so the sizes is going to go from extra small to extra large. And before I go any further, if you guys are enjoying this type of content where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, go over the selection boxes and pickup capsule, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. I also have a Discord server, so if you're interested in joining the Tsum Tsum community to chat about the game, and we also have challenges from time to time to keep the game interesting, so consider scanning this QR code on the screen or using the links down below to join the Discord server. Okay, so let's take a look at all 6 of the skill levels to see if they are worth getting or not, and let's start off with skill level 1, 2, and 3. So the only difference here is the skill range, and the skill range is actually only going to impact one component of the ability time, and that's going to be the ones towards the end of the ability, that big burst that comes in at the very end. And this Tsum is relatively beginner friendly, so if you're newer to the game or haven't played in a long time, this Tsum is actually pretty good to use for beginners. The ability is actually really easy to use. What you want to do is you want to start pressing that ability button as soon as you see it get charged. You want to be able to use the overcharge effect, so that way any extra Tsums that you charge up will go into the next ability time. That way you'll be able to activate a lot more abilities per game. And because this Tsum doesn't freeze during the ability time, meaning that the Tsums will continue to fall during the ability time, you'll be able to just activate it as soon as possible and not have to worry about setting up the screen. One thing you do want to do though is get rid of those bubbles before you activate the ability, because they will get in the way of the abilities and minimize the chain that you're going to get. The next thing I want to show you guys is the abilities activated at the same time, and take a note here, the initial burst here with the 4 different spots, it's always going to be in the same positions at the very top, on the right, and on the left, and on the bottom. So these will range anywhere between 2 to 6, and they're all going to be consistent between all 6 of the skill level. The only thing that's different, and this is the part where the skill range is referencing, is this last burst that comes in at the very end. This last burst is going to take place at the center top area, but because you don't need to set up for the ability, there's really nothing you can really do about it. The only thing that you need to do is just make sure there are no bubbles that get in the way for the initial 4 bursts. And again, those are going to be consistent, so as long as you don't have bubbles in those 4 areas that I mentioned, you're good to go. For these 3 particular abilities, for the skill level 1, I got a chain of 13, skill level 2, I got a chain of 19, and skill level 3, I got a chain of 20. Now, these numbers are going to vary depending on how your screen is set up. If you have a big bubble on the screen, you're definitely going to get more. But all of this is going to be down to luck, because there's really nothing you can do about it to prepare for this big burst at the very end. Moving on to the higher skill level for skill level 4, 5, and 6. The difference here is how big that last burst is going to be. Skill level 4, the skill range is going to be large. Skill level 5, it's going to be extra large, and then finally for skill level 6, it's going to be extra large. Now the strategy for these higher skill level is going to be identical as the skill level 1, 2, and 3. Because the ability doesn't change, and like I mentioned, the 4 burst that comes in at the very beginning of the ability is going to remain consistent throughout skill level 1 through skill level 6. So regardless of your skill level, those 4 bursts is going to be consistent of its size. Now the only thing you need to do is make sure the bubbles don't get in the way, so that way you get the maximum amount of chains, and that way you'll get the maximum amount of coins. Alright, so let's take a look at the abilities activated at the same time. Again, these initial 4 bursts at the very beginning is going to remain consistent, so regardless of what skill level you have, it's going to be the same. For these demonstration, I got anywhere between 2 to 6, and that's probably what you could expect as well. But the burst at the very end, this is where it makes the most impact, and I've noticed that it's always going to be at the center top area. So on the bottom section, if you have a bubble there, that's okay, especially if you have it on the bottom left or right hand corner. If you look at my skill level 6 demonstration there, I did have a bubble in the center area. That kind of did get in the way, and it probably didn't maximize the chain there for skill level 6. For skill level 4, I ended up with a chain of 21, skill level 5 I got a chain of 23, and skill level 6 I got a chain of 26. So overall, I think this Tsum is an okay Tsum. It's definitely not a Tsum that I would recommend you to spend your skill tickets on or even spend a lot of coins to get. If you're getting the Tsum, you're probably using it to get a high combo. So if you don't have a Tsum that gets you a really high combo, then you could consider getting Kalim. Other than the combos, Kalim isn't necessarily that good for anything else. He's not going to get you a lot of coins, and for scoring, he's not that great at the higher levels either. So for that reason, Kalim, unless you don't have a big combo Tsum, then I would recommend you to skip on Kalim. What I also want to show you guys is the results for all 6 of these gameplays, so let's take a look. At skill level 1, I ended up with 4 million points with 1,257 coins. And at skill level 2, I got 6 million points and got 2,005 coins. But you see there, at skill level 3, there's a drop off. So likely what happened there was that I played a really good game for skill level 2. Because for skill level 3, I only got 1,957 coins with 6 million points. But at skill level 4, I ended up with 2,184 coins. So it likely means that for skill level 2, I probably got a lot of time bubbles or something, getting me a lot more coins and a higher XP as well and a high score. So likely skill level 2 is not a good representation of what you could earn for coins. I think realistically it's probably 1,500 is more realistic if you're playing an average game. So it doesn't get any good until probably skill level 6. But even at skill level 6, I only got 9 million points and 3,198 coins. So as you can see here, Kalim is not that great for coins, and for score it's not that great either. I do think that if you get Kalim to level 50, you could definitely break the 10 million points for sure. But I don't think Kalim is worth the coins and not worth the skill ticket for sure. And if you need a combo Tsum, I actually recommend you to try to get Leona King Scholar instead. He's going to come back at the end of the month, so you're better off at saving your coins now and trying your luck at the end of the month. You might want to just get at least 1 copy of Kalim, so if you change your mind later, you could always go back and use skill tickets, but again, it's definitely not worth it. So that's my review of Kalim Al-Asim. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on getting him or not and what you're planning on using him for. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.